So you never even wanted to be a publisher. You were actually really good at your little segment of the industry, and some people even called you a rainmaker. You never wanted that other job, this job. This is your old boss, who was always looking like the world was collapsing around her, dealing with backlist authors, putting out fires every single day, and you thought to yourself, why would anyone do that? And then when you told someone that you were starting your own publishing company, this person happened to be your old mentor, she looked at you and literally said, why the hell would you want to be a publisher? But that didn't really deter you. You still moved forward, and then the next person you talked about it when you asked, well, should we get traditional distribution? That person said, sure, but it will crush you. Still, you weren't deterred. Instead, you tucked that in the back of your mind, because hypothetical crushing and actual crushing are two really separate things. So instead, you decided that you would just spring out into the world in your naivete and start your own publishing company, move forward, do it, get the traditional distribution, because this is exactly what it looks like when you start a publishing company. For about a day. The first epic failure that you have is a complete botch of your own book. It arrives in a box after it's completely done, and you open it up and you just go, oh shit, what happened? Still, this may not look like a mistake, but this was another epic mistake, which is like, you just get on the rocket. You're like, this is so fun, and I'm having a good time, despite that first book, because you fixed it, and you're going about 1,000 miles an hour, and of course, when that happens, you hit a wall, but you just keep going right through it, because when you're going 100, 1,000 miles an hour, you crash through walls, and it's no big deal, except that on the other side of that wall is another epic fail. This one kind of hurt. Massive, massive financial screw up. And on the day that I discovered this one, or I should say, you. On the day you discovered this one, you were curled up in a ball on the floor, actually crying, and you thought to yourself, I am the opposite of a rainmaker. I am creating deserts, and I cannot see past this at all to wonder, could there possibly be a future? And everyone says to you, it's just gonna take time. You're gonna get through this, because the only way through it is to walk this path and just keep going. And you think to yourself, okay, yes, time, I can do this. So one day at a time, you think to yourself, I can, and you keep walking through. And you do this for a number of months, convincing yourself that you're doing the right thing, because the outside world actually doesn't see your epic failures. You feel those failures so strongly, but finally you reach a point when you start to believe, yeah, you know what, I am okay. I got a little bit of muscle in here, I'm gonna survive this. Actually, what you're doing is pretty cool. But still, every single day it looks a lot like this. You're still struggling with the questions, with not knowing, with the backlist authors, with putting out the fires, and occasionally you make good decisions, occasionally you don't know what the hell you're doing and you have no support. But still, you take one question at a time, and you move forward, and you ask the right people, you search for help, and those questions become solutions. So, you learn a few things through this journey. One, slow down. You don't have to be on that rocket going 100,000 miles an hour. It's important, to take things one day at a time, and also not to get too down on yourself, especially hard when other people are telling you how awesome everything is. Mistakes happen. That's another lesson learned, and that's a big one, because especially in this industry, it's hard to remember that that's an okay thing, and that you have to push through and remember that even book publishers make mistakes, even editors make mistakes. And finally, forgive yourself. And this is a big one, because really, mostly you're gonna forget all of the epic, wonderful things that happened and mostly focus on the failures. I have this quote too. Success is stumbling from failure to failure with no loss of enthusiasm, and I like it because it's important to remember that you still can be a rainmaker. Thank you.